Hey, if you're anything like me, you probably experience haters. People that just can't stand you because of who you are. Especially when you're being you. When you're being you, they come at you like, how come you're this? How come you're that? And all that. And they start with the criticisms, and all of a sudden you start to put yourself away, or your natural tendencies, you start to put them away because it bothers people. I came to realize that, wait a second, well, what is this whole thing? What am I really arguing with? Because it almost feels like an argument within yourself. That your natural tendencies want to do something, but then you censor yourself. Because in the past, there was somebody who, did that, and it marked you. It told you, don't do that. It's like a hot stove, right? Even though maybe you're a chef and you know how to handle this thing because you love to cook, right? This is just an analogy, right? But then people keep telling you, don't touch a stove. But this is where I do my best stuff. No, don't touch the stove because you get burned, and then you get burned. Maybe they push you into the burner, you get burned, and you get to taste the heat, and it burns you, right? And then you decide to just back off completely from something that makes you really, really happy. So then that makes you wonder, how come these people wanted me to stay away from the stuff that makes me happy? They're literally afraid of you. They're afraid of what you can do with that thing that they told you to stay away from. Because it makes them feel inadequate. It makes them feel like failures. Put it to you this way, in my life, I've had many people who just came down on me just when I was being myself. And now I'm like, well, why? I love me. And not in a conceited way, but it's like I notice that whenever I'm myself, everything goes great. Life turns out great. Everything turns out in my favor. I'm having such a great time with life, and things just keep, one after another, just keep, great things keep happening, basically. And so now, why would people want to stop me from doing that? Well, again, it's because you become a mirror to them, and then you end up pointing out their inefficacies. Because first of all, they got hot and bothered with it, and that's when they wanted to put in your 2 cents into your life, and then you end up with this shit sandwich that you're like, well, what do I do with this? Be like you? Well, I don't want to be like you. I want to be myself. And now that I remember, things always go great when I'm being myself. Just like with my father, hating me for whatever the reason was. I think it was because, I don't know, it was just, he hated how I spoke, the way I thought, basically just being nice and kind. I think I told you about that experience that we had, in the backyard. We were moving some stuff around, and a black widow all of a sudden came out of that mess, because it was the mess that you find in a backyard when you haven't moved stuff around, right? So you're moving stuff around, and there was this black widow, and everybody is just stomping at this poor thing, and this poor thing is just dodging all of the stumps. And I said to them, no, just leave it alone. It wants to leave, just let it leave. I mean, it wants to go into the backyard next door. Just let it go. I mean, it's not hurting you. It's really just as terrified of you, is trying to run away. But before I could finish that, my father just just stepped on it, and just really ground at that, at that foot. Really just dissolved the poor black widow. And I just looked, and I looked at me like, what are you gonna do about it, you pansy? Basically, that's the message I got. That he thought that I was soft because I said not to step on the spider. And for all of you who like to do that, please stop. Okay, spiders are a great reminder that you can always start all over again. because after we destroy their homes, what do? They have to start all over again. And it's a great reminder that it may be complex, it may take you a long time, but what are you going to do? You have to rebuild. And that's the great reminder. So when you see a spider, that's the message. Maybe you're thinking that everything is lost, and then all of a sudden you see a spider and you stomp on it. I mean, come on, it was a great messenger, and you just kill it just because you've been told that they're dangerous. But as long as you're not picking it up, I mean, they're not gonna harm you in one bit, I mean, so they're there as a sign. And when my father stomped on that spider, it just reminded me that, wait a second, he hated how I was. And just like my mom always felt, embarrassed because of how I was, again, someone who was sensitive, like I said, not to the point that it's like, oh, he's just too sensitive, he's a little gay boy or anything like that, but coming from Mexico, this macho country, that's, boys don't necessarily behave that way, and I did. And again, it is because I just have this inner code that says don't hurt it. Like I told you about that experience that I had with my mother. We were watching television, and there was this procession, this Catholic procession where they're walking a saint up ahead, and all the fireworks and the band is behind, but then in the back there's a cow, because it's going to be used as sacrifice, right? Because they still do sacrifices. And the cow is being walked down the street, and people are poking it and just, trying to get it to, have a Pamplona run or something, trying to get it mad. But still, they're really just, they're harassing the poor animal. And I told my mom, I was pissed. I was like, this stupid beast, this animal, they're doing the same thing that they did with Jesus, because that's all I could think about. Jesus was walked down the street and people were doing the same thing. So when I said that they're doing the same thing that they did to Jesus, and my mom goes, how can you compare? I was like, oh my God, how can you be my mother? So see, those weird looks that she gave me, the comments that she made, when my dog got run over, she blamed it on the dog. It's like, stupid dog ran out. I'm like, and this is, I'm just found out that my dog had gotten run over, but it was this necessity to be hard, and to teach me to be hard, to get tough, and I was just like, no, this is just animalistic, it's bestial to behave that way. Again, at least that's what my inner code has always told me. And she hated that, and my brother, well, he hates me because he could never be me. I was always, again, the A student, and I was always, congratulated by teachers, got a bunch of scholarships and awards. I mean, I'm not telling you this, because I'm flaunting it. It's the fact that it's a fact. And everybody would ask me, all my teachers would ask me, well, why are you so smart? Why do you do such good work? I'm like, because you told me to. That was my response. It's like, you expect me to do these things, so I did them, and then you're giving me awards for them. Awesome. But that wasn't my aim. And my aim was to do the work, and somehow I did it really well, and they liked it. So again, my brother hated that. So, and these are the people that I got the most hate from, not including my ex, which she takes a prize, but she did it more smartly, because she gaslit me into thinking that she was behind me, and in the end, all she was trying to do was sabotage everything I was doing. So I was like thinking, how come I had so many people that have done that? Because they were afraid. They were afraid of what I could do. They felt inadequate with my prowess. They felt short with what I had accomplished. They felt like failures, basically. So, in essence, what I'm saying is that haters would love for you to not be you, not to act like you. And I'm telling you that you are the center of your whole universe, at the center of your whole, experience. So if you're not being you, then you're putting out the wrong signal, and this is why things are bad in your life. But when you consider, well, why do they hate when I'm being me? Because I love me. I mean, because essentially when you're being you, everything goes great in your universe. Everything, the ends meet, you get the recognition, you get the job, you accomplish the feats you wanted to accomplish when you're being you. So be you. Because being you is lovely. And you're lovely when you are you. You came here for a reason, and if you're not practicing or being that reason, which is you, and what you can do and your purpose and your abilities, then we're missing the whole thing. Is like trying to play football when when you're really just playing. You're supposed to be playing soccer, football. But they're completely different sports, right? And other people just want you to just not do what you do. Isn't that something? Maybe that's a trick. That in order for you to be a rebel, is for you to just be you. Because being you is freedom. Being you is what you're here to do. So if people don't like it when you're being you, then you got your answer. Get away from those people. Because there will be stumbling blocks as long as they're in your life. Even if you're your own family. Even if you're married to them. Even if they're your kids. Even if you've known them all your life. Just think about the times when they have stopped you from being you. Being you is freedom. Being you is all. It's everything. So you gotta be you. And once you start being you, you're putting out a unique signal that is only going to get back to you. You know what I mean?